Welcome everyone to the Tactical Tavern. My name is Tomas Salas, and in this video, we are reviewing the highly anticipated Demco AD20.5. This has been one of the most requested knives on the channel, so I'm excited to share my thoughts. With that said, let's cut into it. Demco knives have quickly come into popularity because of this mechanism right here. This blade right here features the Demco Shark Lock, which could be one of the most fidget-friendly blades we've ever checked out. Full transparency, I was on the fence about getting one of these until I handled it at SHOT Show, and I fell in love. That being said, there are still some considerations with this blade, but there is a lot of pros, and we're gonna get into that to find out if this is right for your everyday carry or outdoor adventure. This blade comes in with an overall length of 7.37 inches, certainly fits into that functional everyday carry size for me. It's not too big, it's not too small. This has that kind of like perfect blend of comfort factor while still having a ton of cutting capabilities in an easy to carry package. I mean, this thing is super thin. It only comes in at 0.375 inches, so it certainly disappears while carrying it around. I will also make sure to throw up some size comparisons for you guys because I know that helps me in my decision-making process. I have here the Armiger 4 as well as the Armiger 2, so you can kind of get a size reference between those two. I'll also compare it to one of the most popular blades on the market, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. If you enjoyed the size comparisons, let me know in the comment section down below. We can incorporate those more into future videos. The blade shape that I went with is the clip point version, but they also have the shark's foot, which is more of a worn clip. I personally opted for this because I think this gives you the most versatility for an everyday carry and outdoor adventure tool, and it is very robust. I really enjoy that it's still thick enough towards the tip where you can feel comfortable torquing on the knife. Again, use your tools for what they're intended for, but it gives me that confidence that it's not a brittle tip and gonna snap off easily while still optimizing the cutting performance. Makes it a very well-rounded blade. The steel that I have on this is D2 tool steel. I have no problem with D2, I'm a big fan. The edges on the top are slightly rounded, but it still gives you just enough edge that you could shower a ferro rod if you're using this in a camping setting. As we work our way to the top, I'm a really big fan of the jimping on the spine of the blade. And right below that, there's also a cutout. Now I like the jimping because it comfortably provides a resting place for your thumb, but it's not that overly aggressive, gonna shred your thumb, and it's not super soft or annoying. It has that great amount of bite to it. And now underneath that, there's that opening hole. And man, this really aids in the fidget factor of this AD20.5. Besides that, there are some step thumb studs. And I mean, again, this thing just flips open. There's so many different opening methods. Of course, you can do your standard thumb, you can do the middle finger flick, you can do the drop down. And one of my favorite opening methods, as you saw in the beginning, is the weighted pop. Such a fun blade to play with. In the comment section, someone requested we do the point of balance. So here we go. It lines up exactly right under that choil, which gives it a little bit of handle heft, making the blade very nimble and fast. So you may be wondering if I have two different blades. It's actually the same. I just swapped out the handles. The gray is a grivery texture, which provides a ton of grip and it's very comfortable. And on that note of grip, I really enjoy how they milled out underneath. They added the AD20.5 where the clip touches, so it makes it super smooth in and out of the pocket. Personally, I love Halloween, so I swapped it out for some orange G10, and I actually recommend this if you're into going into the outdoors. If you set your knife down or maybe it drops, it makes it very easy to see and identify. But for me personally, I just like it because Halloween. What I really enjoy is that they give you a ton of aftermarket parts that you can swap out. So if you're interested in seeing what they have, make sure to check out the Demco website via the link below. I'll put one there for you so you can see all the accessories available. The blade steel on this one is D2 tool steel, but they have so many different options on there from 3V, S35VN, and CPM20CV. The pricing will vary. This is definitely the base model, but there's so many options on there. I'm really happy to see that they give you a variety of steels depending on your preference. And on that note, last thing about the blade is that it came so flippin' sharp. I mean, this thing was able to melt through cardboard boxes. I still have not touched it up. And I was also using it for food prep work. You can see here dicing up some celery. It really has a great blade shape and it has amazing cutting capabilities. And it really holds an edge well. So if you're into a hard use tool, I think this makes a great option. And if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss future reviews helping you save money and upgrade your gear. Lastly, as we transition to the handle, there is a soft spot here for your finger choil. I would say it's like a half finger choil because if you have really meaty hands, it's probably gonna kiss that blade a little bit, so be careful. But for me, with my dainty little hands, it fits perfectly. no issues whatsoever. And I like this if you really want some additional control for fine carving tasks, but ideally it does have a nice guard on there to prevent your hands from sliding forward. And it also has a little bit of a thumb ramp, and that's because of the shark lock, which has a ton of jimping for added convenience. I love the small divot here to allow you to easily access this. And something I really enjoy about the shark lock is that it's great for left or right-handed folks, especially if you're operating with one hand. You can deploy it, cut whatever you need to, and put it back smoothly in one stroke. And talking about the left or right hand, so is that pocket clip. They actually included a left-handed version, which is what you see here, because we're lefties here. And that also leads to a very generous lanyard hole, which I love to see. And the backspacer on here is also that gray grivery, so adds a little bit of texture if you're ever using it in reverse grip. The AD20.5 is packed with versatility, but there are a couple of things to consider. First off, my qualms came with the shark lock. Now, when I first got it, I was worried that if I was slashing with this in like a emergency response situation, really opening up some packages, would it close on my fingers if I pulled on there? Now, it doesn't necessarily, of course it's still in my mind, but if you put downward pressure on the blade and you pull back on the lock, it actually kind of jumps into like the secondary lock, which I don't know if you can hear it, prevents it from closing. So that's kind of cool. There is a redundant safety feature built into it, but it still gives me a little bit of hesitancy that if I was slicing with it and I like, bam, kind of the same story in the reverse grip, because when it goes into the palm, it kind of bites in there. Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely not, which is surprising. I mean, you don't even feel it. But if you stab down into something, is there the potential for it to fold? Maybe. Because of this, I can rate this for everyday carry and confidently for outdoor adventure, but for a tactical self-defense blade, I think this might be a little bit out of its wheelhouse. And that comes with all due respect. I think there are a ton of other great options that Demco has designed, like the 5 Max from Cold Steel. So make sure to check out those options if you really want a robust, heavy-duty emergency response blade. And the last consideration for me is the closing action. Anything below a 90-degree angle, this thing is snapping shut, so watch your fingers. Meaning that if I do a finger choil close, you got to move your fingers quick because this thing is coming down. It was really bad with the grivery handles, but with the G10, I was able to tune it while I was swapping out those scales, and now it's a little bit easier, but still something to keep in mind. And to be fair, your fingers should be out of the way when closing the blade anyway, so it's not that big to worry about, but just be mindful that it certainly snaps shut. Personally, the Demco AD20.5 is a win in the everyday carry and outdoor adventure department. It's durable, it's strong, it's so fun to play with. It's a great design, and it's left-handed friendly, which is a big win in my book. I'm also a huge fan that there are so many aftermarket scales, so depending on your mood, you can swap those out, and it's not super hard to put on the new scales. I'm not an engineer and I was able to do it. If you guys are interested in a free way to help support the channel, I'll drop an affiliate link down below of where you can pick up one of these AD20.5s and other Demco knives. A big thank you to you for watching this video. Make sure to drop a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you won't miss future videos helping you save money and upgrade your gear, as well as drop down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on this 20.5 and what other gear would you love to see us review? While you're there, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Tactical Tavern. With all that being said, my name is Tomas Alas. Thank you again for watching. I'm excited to see you in the next video. And remember, be prepared, be practical, stay tactical.